Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of my Blood Elf Warlock Let's Play series. Our last episode we got started in the world of Azeroth, in the lands of Quel'Thalas, in the northern parts of the Eastern Kingdoms, and today I don't really have a set plan for what I want to do, and I'm just going to start questing because we picked up a lot of quests, and we even have quests to go to the next zone, but I'm going to stick to the first zone for this episode and probably for the next episode as well, where there are a variety of different things we can do, but I think I'll start with Southeros Haven because this is a quest that I feel like is kind of iconic that a lot of people really remember. Where let's go ahead and come this way, where we are going to have a very interesting party area with a rich blood elf who is throwing a party. And we can go ahead and check out what is going on, and we can see what this quest specifically is, because we have a quest to speak to Lord Southero, and we have this entire area right here where we have one of the floating crystals that's very cool looking at Southero's Haven. And we have one Elisara, Sunstriker, and Lord Southero himself.
Glory to the Sindora.
Let's go ahead and complete this. And he likes to throw parties, so we can go ahead and gather a few different things. We need to get a bottle of Sun-Touched Special Reserve from Silvermoon City. We need to get Zeline, or not Zeline, we need to get Springpaw appetizers from the Farstrider Retreat, and we need to get fireworks from Halliston Strider at Fairbreeze Village.
Justice.
So we need to come over here, and we need to go up to Silvermoon, and we need to come to Fairbreeze Village. So I'll probably just hold on to that quest for now, and we can go ahead and continue further west, where we are going to have a very special area, which is an anchorage, where Blood Elves are actually known for having a very powerful navy, and I guess High Elves prior to them becoming Blood Elves. Where in Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3 there were a lot of boats that you could use that were Blood Elf, High Elf themed boats, at least in Warcraft 2. I'm trying to remember for Warcraft 3. But we can go ahead and come down here and see that there's a group of Eversong Rangers outside of the anchorage, because the anchorage has been taken over by the Wretched. And I think last episode I called them the Withered a bunch, and the Wretched and Withered are basically the same thing, but are technically different. They're different base elves that have transformed into an abomination basically. But we can go ahead and come over here and deal with the Wretched, where we have multiple quests, where we also have a quest to go deal with Grim Scale Pirates, and we also have multiple different quests over here we can pick up from different enemies we can kill. But let's go ahead and start with dealing with the Wretched, where we need to kill some hooligans and we have to get some Sindoi armaments, it looks like. And this is just a really cool area because it's a little harbor, and you can see a boat over there and a couple of sunken boats, so maybe their navy is not as powerful as it used to be. But I remember when the Burning Crusade Classic pre-patch originally released, where I was playing at Undead Warlock in vanilla, and then the pre-patch came out and I started playing a Blood Elf Mage, and I really remember spending a ton of time here and getting the armaments, because there were 100 other players around me on this layer also trying to get armaments, and they're slow respawns and you need 8 of them and there's only so many around. So I just remember spending a ton of time here just trying to get as many armaments as possible, and that's kind of one of the classic WoW experiences, where we are currently playing on retail, of course, so there's not a lot of people around here because most people playing retail are in the current expansion, the War Within, and they're not really hanging out in old world places, where I've seen a few people out and about. But I think largely people that start playing a Blood Elf character will reach level 10, which we are about to reach, and then they'll go off to some expansion and start doing that stuff. Currently it's probably the Dragonflight expansion is the most popular, which I'm interested in checking out in the future. But they'll go there and do that stuff instead of just hanging out here in Quel'Thalas, because this is pretty old content, and it's content that I enjoy a lot, but it's definitely stuff that other people don't enjoy. And I played through these zones so many times, and it's always still a fun experience to come through here again, where I just absolutely love this area and love this environment. And I'm really excited for the Burning Crusade Classic to come around again after the vanilla anniversary servers roll over to the Burning Crusade. Though I am like trying to play only one character, but you know, I might end up playing other characters, especially in the Burning Crusade and like Wrath of Shkeen, because I really enjoy the leveling experiences in those expansions, which I do in vanilla as well. But I think maybe I'll just be slow while it's the vanilla anniversary servers, and then when the Burning Crusade and the Wrath of Shkeen roll around, I'll start going hard again and playing on those servers a lot. There's a wretched hooligan here, where I have the imp running around and starting to cast firebolts from afar. But it's always fun to just like run through like so many different areas of the world, to just like nostalgia trip through them, and to also like just play content that I really enjoy playing, because you know, video games in a way are mostly like the entire way that they are made is for the purposes of fun at the end of the day, where we see like different games with like different business practices try to like latch onto like other aspects of life, mostly through like monetization purposes. But it's always fun to just like play through games that you like thoroughly enjoy, and to not play games that you don't really enjoy. So playing through like the Burning Crusade content for me is something that I just enjoy a lot. And we have reached level 10, and as we have reached level 10, we have unlocked a new minion, Summon Voidwalker, under your command, able to withstand heavy punishment. So we have choke up our imp here, and I think it's time that we say goodbye to him, and let's go ahead and summon a Voidwalker as he's going to disappear. And we're going to have a brand new minion to hang out with us, where we have Grazat, and this is a minion of the Void, which is very interesting, and kind of going back to like the War Within. We see the Void playing a big part of that expansion, and we've had Voidwalkers ever since vanilla. You know, it's always been a part of the game, and we can see that this is a minion here where the imp is kind of like a ranged DPS dealer. Our Voidwalker is a melee like tank basically, so I can go ahead and like send him in, and he has a very special ability somewhere, I think, where he will taunt them. Oh, threatening presence intimidates any target the Voidwalker attacks, increasing threat generation. So he is basically going to be a tank for us, which is nice. So he's going to grab the attention of any enemies we fight, and he's going to hold their attention while we can just sit back here and cast a bunch of shadow bolts at our enemies. But because of that, he's probably going to be taking a lot of damage, so we need to be careful about this health bar here and just make sure that he doesn't die, or we might get in a little bit of trouble because we won't have a minion anymore, which I'm not sure when the next minion we get is. I guess we could come into here where we'll get a new minion at level 23, which is probably going to be the last minion. Oh, we get a Syad, a succubus or an incubus at level 19. And I thought Ritual of Doom, or you get a Doom Guard that requires 4 additional party members. And I think if we were to choose the demonology tree, we would be able to get a variety of different demons, which, speaking of that, we have now unlocked specializations. So let's go ahead and come into our specialization tree here, where we have Destruction, a Master of Chaos who calls down fire to burn and demolish enemies. We have Demonology, a commander of demons who twists the souls of their army into devastating power. And we have Affliction, a master of shadow magic who specializes in drains and damage over time spells. Where I think, let's go ahead and pick Demonology, where we'll get Hand of Godan, where we can summon a bunch of imps, and we'll get a Demonic Tyrant to increase the duration of your Dreadstalkers, Vile Fiend, Felguard, and up to 10 of your wild imps by 15 seconds. So those are some abilities that we will be able to unlock, and we can see what we can get right at the start. So we have now specialized in Demonology, so we're now a Demonologist. And if we come into our talent tree here, we can see summons 2 ferocious Dreadstalkers to attack the target for 12 seconds, Implosion, and we can get Demoniac, where we get the Demon Bolt ability, which is cool. But we're going to start over here with Warlock, where we automatically got Soul Leech. All single target damage done by your minions grants you and your pet Shadow shields that absorbs 3% of the damage dealt for 15 seconds, up to 5% of maximum health. But now we can get Burning Rush. This actually seems very nice. Increases your movement speed by 50%, but also damages you for 4% of your maximum health every 1 second. We could get Fell Armor, which reduces our damage taken. We can get a demon skin, very classic skill, where it increases our armor, and we can get Fel Domination. Your next Imp, Voidwalker, Incubus, Succubus, Fel Hunter, or Felguard summon spell is free and has its casting time reduced by 90%. So this might be nice if like our minion dies, we can like instantly respawn them, but maybe let's go with demon skin for now. And we can go ahead and just move in one of these directions, and this will be able to just help keep us alive. Where demon skin is located somewhere. Oh, it's just a passive ability in retail. Wow, that's right. But level 10 is a very big level because we just unlocked all that, but we have also unlocked our first mount, which I believe the Blood Elf mounts are called Hawk Striders. Yes, they are. I just have to spell it correctly. Where we have a Swift White Hawk Strider, which is a special drop from a dungeon, and we have some from the Wrath of the Lich King expansion. We have this one from the Legion expansion, and we have this one, which I think is related to the Blood Elf Heritage quest chain, not entirely sure. But we got these three, which are special for the Blood Elves, where you have to reach like exalted reputation with them and then purchase this at like, it's going to be level 20 now in retail WoW, but back during the original Burning Crusade I believe it was level 50, and then in Wrath of the Lich King it became level 40. Where there's also a Swift Black Hawk Strider you used to be able to get from the PvP vendors, but we have a Red Hawk Strider, a Purple Hawk Strider, a Blue Hawk Strider, and a Black Hawk Strider. Alright, let's go ahead and pick the blue one since blue is my favorite color. And let's go ahead and turn in this quest really quickly, where we can now get Alderon's head, who is the leader of the Wretched around here, and let's mount up on our Blue Hawk Strider, which looks very cool. Very similar to like different Striders you can find in like the Barrens and other areas of Kalimdor, including in Azurmus Isle, which we explored in my last Let's Play series. But we just have to come up to this area right here, the Wretched Ringleader, Alderon's head. So let's go ahead and just run through this way, where there are quite a few Wretched. So let's go ahead and just deal with them very quickly. I feel like this is a very like lore friendly Warlock experience, where we just came into this building and we just obliterated everyone. But we can go ahead and run up here, which we can see the Blood Elf buildings are really cool and are similar in vibes to one another, of course. And of course, with how World of Warcraft is designed, we see the specific model used here and there throughout Blood Elf areas and also beyond probably. But we can go ahead and come into this cool area where we have this like structure in the center here and another Wretched over here, where we have a quick way down if we wanted to just jump down. And I remember, I think it's in the Isle Quel'Thalas, there's a building just like this that has a ton of enemy Blood Elves on it that you have to deal with. And I remember there's just been like archers on like the center there that you have to deal with, I think. Or it might be like the lodge type building. Or I think this is more like a Sanctum-esque building, not entirely sure. But we are up here to Alderon the Reckless, and he has two Wretched thugs with him. So let's go ahead and deal with them both. Where I tend to just be using Shadow Bolts because I feel like Corruption is probably not too worth it right now. But once we reach like a higher level and enemies are stronger, it'll probably be more and more useful. Where we also have Fear, which is going to be useful for certain situations. If you start, oh, am I dead? I'm probably dead. I'm dead. I'm not dead. Nice. Where I guess let's use a health stone that can heal us up there. And where I just lost my Voidwalker because I ran away and I might actually die here. So let's use this Fear ability. And let's go ahead and come here. Let's use Drain Life on this Wretched thug. So this is just going to heal us up a bunch, and this is very powerful actually. So we have a ton of health now. Heals for 500% of the damage done, which is nice, and the Curse of Weakness is nice because it increases our damage dealt by a lot. So I somehow survived that encounter. But let's go ahead and summon a new Voidwalker, where these rangers are charging at the Wretched over there. So this Wretched probably has no idea what's coming for him right now, and he is absolutely obliterated. And there's another one over there, and we got experience for that, which is nice. Let's go ahead and turn in this quest, where we got some silk wristbands, and now we have to go deal with some Murlocs. So let's go ahead and come this way, where I was also killing some of the lynxes around here. So let's keep an eye out for some of them. But I want to come up here, I think, because I see these two quests, and I think I remember this one. I think we have to kill a special murloc for that, and then we have to come down here for these. I don't really remember this one, so let's just come this way where we are close to the West Sanctum. We can see a ton of murloc huts there, where we have this character, which we can chat with, and we need to get Grimscale murloc heads. So let's go ahead and come down here, where we should maybe focus on the southern area first, but I see Captain Cassandra's Lost Rudders, which I'm pretty sure there's a named murloc around here. So let's go ahead and just run this way really quickly and just keep an eye out. And if I remember this named murloc, I think he just wanders up and down the coast, so we might have to run up and down the coast a little bit. I see a chest right here which I might go for, and there are a ton of murlocs right here, so we're probably going to kill a bunch of them. And I don't see our special murloc friend just yet. Oh, there we go. We got it off of a random murloc, so we did not have to kill a specific murloc for that quest. But here's this, never mind, we have to kill this murloc first. The Grimscale Forager, which they have an updated model that, I don't remember when their model got updated, but we have this chest here, which has a couple of healing potions in it, which is nice. So this will pair up with our health stone, and I think we can use both of these separately. They do not share a cooldown unless it's changed. Over here is a special murloc where we have Murloc that we can go ahead and fight. So let's go ahead and launch a couple of shadow bolts this way. I'm gonna pull the attention of a couple of other murlocs, which is fine, and he healed just a tiny bit there. But that's going to be okay, and let's deal with this Grimscale murloc, and then we just need to go ahead and run around to get all this cargo. These murlocs do have a chance to drop some of the cargo for us, and we just got 2 there, which is nice. But then we can run over here and pick some of this up, where I see a crate of food on the shore right there. So there's just a lot of supplies with this food crate, and then the barrels around here, and then we got to the chest over there. So I'm going to scout out. I see right over here there are 2 barrels right next to each other, so let's fight this murloc and maybe get a murloc head off of him. But then we can run back over this way, and we can go ahead and turn in this quest once we get another head, and then we can run back towards the anchorage and turn in the other quest over there. So there's a couple of murlocs in the water kind of blocking our way, so we can go ahead and take this time to clear them out, so we won't have to kill like too many extra murlocs. Sorry, that one's running off that way. And I guess let's go ahead and grab his attention. And our Voidwalker is almost dead. We did fight like a group of 4 murlocs over there, so he definitely took quite a bit of damage from that. But we need to be careful of making sure he doesn't completely die, or we'll have to resurrect him, which isn't a really big thing in Retail WoW. But we can also use our health funnel ability to sacrifice some of our health and give it to him, which I feel like is a very, very cool spell thematically.
We will persevere.
Here are these probably slimy murloc heads, and now we need to go get the Ring of Murgo from Murgo. So let's go ahead and run back this way, where we leveled up to level 11, so we can get this new Demon Bolt ability. So let's go ahead and apply this change. And comparing the two, this is a 2-second cast time, this is a 4.5-second cast time. This costs 9 mana compared to the 6 mana, but this deals 47 shadow damage and generates a soul shard. And this deals 103 shadow flame damage and generates 2 soul shards. So I feel like probably depends on a lot of factors. I guess Shadow Bolt is probably better because you can cast like 2 1/4 Shadow Bolts in the time you can do 1 Demon Bolt, but I don't know, it's probably like roughly the same. I'm sure there's like some sort of like mathematical element. But let's go ahead and cast this, which it actually looks very cool. So I feel like I'll probably want to stick to the Shadow Bolt because I like how it's faster. And then if you get like a crit off of like a shadow bolt, it's probably going to deal like the same amount of damage as a demon bolt, but you have more chances to get a shadow bolt crit. I feel like that's better. Where this does generate 2 soul shards, but we can generate 2 soul shards in less time with the shadow bolt. So I feel like, based off my limited knowledge, this is probably the better ability. And ultimately, when we're just leveling in Quel'Thalas, it probably just depends on like what you personally want to do. But I'm going to guess Shadow Bolt is probably just the better one to stick with. But I'll keep this on my skill bar. Where we did get Demonic Core, when your wild imps expend all of their energy or are imploded, you have a 10% chance to absorb their life essence. And we see another similar thing with Dreadstalkers. Let's go ahead and turn on this ring, and nothing really good. We can get the shield, which looks cool, but we cannot use. And we have completed this quest. Well, let's go ahead and come over here now, because we have these 2 quests to turn in. This should give us a good amount of experience and also some gold as well. And then this quest, and we are almost level 12. Right now, I think I want to run this way, where there might be a Spring Paw Lynx up here that we can defeat, but we also have a new quest area that we can go to, the Scorched Grove. Where it's very interesting to see the soul shards mechanic here, which I think changed. It was either in Cataclysm or Mist of Pandaria. It's been a while since I played a Warlock outside of vanilla, but now it's kind of just like a resource we have underneath our mana, alongside mana, kind of similar to like Holy Power for Paladins. But back in the day, we had soul shards, which were physical items that went into your inventory, and you had to collect soul shards by just using Drain Life on enemies that granted experience or honor, or would grant experience if you were at level 60, so like less than 8 levels or below 8 levels from you, where, or was it 12 levels? I don't entirely remember. Anyways, you had to kill a bunch of enemies and drain their lives in order to get soul shards in your bags, which each individual soul shard took up 1 slot, and then you had to use those soul shards for a variety of abilities, which you often had to have a lot of them for raids. So vanilla warlocks who are collecting soul shards for raiding in vanilla era have to collect a lot of them in order to raid. But we can see off in the distance is the Ghostlands. We have a little bit of a hint for the adventures coming up for us in the future, but we have this quest right here. And we can go ahead and help treat this grove, a somber task, where the Blood Elves are actually kind of like very like nature-based people who care a lot about like nature and like trees and plants, and that often comes from their like Caldori heritage, where the Night Elves also care a lot about nature, but care significantly more than the Blood Elves, of course. But it's still cool to see the Blood Elves care a lot, where they are not happy about having to deal with this area and killing what used to be very peaceful and very calm and very nice creatures, like one old white bark who drops a quest for us, I believe. Old white bark's pendant that we can go ahead and bring back to the quest giver that we just talked to, where let's go ahead and just continue killing some more withered green keepers all around here. And as we do so, we are probably going to level up to level 12, which is exciting. There's a crazed dragon hawk right there, which the dragon hawks are really fun. And it's cool to see like the dragon hawks introduced in the Burning Crusade, because it's like a new flying mount option for like flight paths, and I think you can get some in like starting in Rathlishkin, I think, where I guess we can look at our warband collections, mounts, and then dragon hawk, where I currently own a red dragon hawk, which you get from collecting a bunch of mounts, and then you can get one from the Mount Parade, which I think is an anniversary event, and you can get one in Shatrath City from time walking, and then yes, you could get one from Rathlishkin. So I think the Red Dragonhawk and the Sunreaver Dragonhawk were added with the Rathlishkin expansion, where the Sunreaver Dragonhawk is exclusive to Horde, but Red Dragonhawk is exclusive, or not exclusive at all. I guess we will not level up just yet. Let's go ahead and run back this way, where we have 2 quests to turn in, and I think there might be one more that we are going to get. And then after that, we can probably start heading back towards Fairbreeze Village, where I do need to fight some more Spring Paws. We're going to come in right here, and we can go ahead and complete this quest, and that will level us up. And then we can complete this quest, and now we can go place the pendant at the runestone. So let's go ahead and come over here. Where we see this runestone over here, which is incredibly important for the defense of Quel'Thalas. But an important storyline that happened during Warcraft 3, and is something that we will be exploring, is how the runestones were deactivated somehow during the events of Warcraft 3, and the deactivation of the runestones allowed the Scourge to invade Quel'Thalas and basically destroyed everything and destroyed the Sunwell. Where we have Whitebark's spirit, where we are disturbing his slumber, and he is mad about that, but we can go ahead and free his spirit by defending him, and we can go ahead and chat with him, where he is no longer belonging to this world and must admit defeat. Or maybe one day, long after the elves are gone, a new tree will grow on this very spot amongst the burnt forest and the husks of dead treants. So a little bit of a sad storyline, but we have completed that, so let's go ahead and leave this here, where we have now completed everything over here. We have this quest, but that's going to be for later, and we can go ahead and come back this way, where I've now completed pretty much everything on like the western edge of Eversong Woods now. So I think I'm going to meander back towards Fairbreeze Village, and from there, I'm not entirely sure. We have a bunch of quests we could do, but maybe we could come up towards Silvermoon City, and maybe we could even explore Silvermoon City in this episode. That could be fun. Where I think when I was playing a Draenei character, I ended up doing it in episode 3, so it'll be a little bit earlier in this series, which might be fun. Salthero wants us to get Springpaw appetizers all the way from the eastern edge of Eversong Woods, but right next to his house are a bunch of Springpaw stalkers that we could go ahead and get this lynx meat from, and then we could make appetizers of our own, but that's not good enough for him. We have to go to the hunting lodge. Let's go ahead, just whack him with the staff, and we got a Springpaw pelt there. So now we have 5 quest markers in Fairbreeze Village. One of them is to get the bundle of fireworks, and one of them is right outside Fairbreeze Village. But we do have 3 quests that we can turn in now, one of which is going to take us to Silvermoon City. So we could go ahead and maybe start doing that next. But first, let's go ahead and turn in the other 2 quests, where we have this one right here, which I believe is the Springpaw one. So let's go ahead and turn this in, and we got a Springpaw hide cloak, +1 armor, but it's green instead of red. So, you know, whatever. I think I like the green more, but I think I prefer the red right now since we are wearing red robes. But, you know, +1 armor. Anyways, let's go ahead and turn in this quest, where we can report to the Far Strider retreat on the eastern end of Eversong Woods, but I'll save that for the future, where we have the innkeeper, I think, or is it the trade supplies, or is it the general goods merchant? It must be the general goods merchant. Let's go ahead and chat with him, where we can go ahead and get a bundle of fireworks, which we needed for the quest. And let's go ahead and take this moment to clean up my inventory. I wish I could say crafting materials, but I think I'm just going to sell them. Where it looks like the bundle of fireworks went straight to my like special quest bag, which exists now. But we have dealt with all that, and I think now let's go ahead and chat with the Skymaster, and we can turn in this quest. And this is teaching us about flight paths, where we can go ahead and run over there, or we can use this flight path. And I think I'm actually going to run over there, but then we can use the flight path to get back here. And the reason I want to do that is because there is a quest on the way, and going back towards the Burning Crusade, there was not a Flight Master here or here. There was only one here, and then there was one in the Ghostlands, or I guess technically 2 in the Ghostlands once the Zul'Aman raid released, and then there was one up in the Isle of Quel'Thalas. So this is a little bit more authentic to the Burning Crusade. Which Silvermoon is a really cool area, but there are some spots outside of it that are also important, where we have one of the most important areas in this entire map, the Dead Scar, a massive scar that you can see across the entire map and across the entirety of the Ghostlands and across like half of the Isle of Quel'Thalas, which is just tainted corruption of the Scourge, and there are a lot of undead just hanging out here, where if we come over here we can see that we have a group of rangers here who are defending Silvermoon and this part of the Dead Scar from the Scourge, which we can go ahead and help them out by defeating some of these Plague-born pillagers. So let's go ahead and run back this way and deal with the Scourge, which the Scourge are one of my favorite factions in World of Warcraft, just from the sense of like being an enemy faction, and I always love fighting like undead. I guess in like really any video game, I don't know, undead are just very cool. I guess, you know, I used to play a lot of Left 4 Dead as a kid, and I play a lot of World of Warcraft where the Scourge are a prominent part of the game. And then looking at like Guild Wars 2, we see the Risen, who are now the Unchained, and we see the Awakened playing a big part, and now we kind of have the Bog Queen and the Janthier Wilds expansion. So there's just like a ton of like undead themes and a lot of games that I love a lot, and it's always fun to fight them. Where I think I like the Scourge in particular because their leader is Arthas, and Arthas is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, villains in like any media. So much so, when I was 8 years old, I created my first ever character named Athos in like 2008, and I named Athos based on Arthas, the Lich King, where I just changed a couple letters, I removed the R, and I changed the A to an I, and called it good there, where I just wanted to name myself after this really cool character, and then that name has just stuck around with me forever since then. Which I remember like a year or two later, I was talking to like a random person, and he claimed to be a video game developer, and I thought that was really cool. Whether or not he was actually a video game developer, like, I have no idea, and he never said where he worked for, but I remember that same person was talking a lot about how he liked my name a lot, and I just remember this video game developer who liked my name, and then like a year or two later, the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim released, and I think I might die. But I remember playing through that for the first time. I was like 12, I believe, and I remember coming across a dark elf by the name of Athos, who was a member of the Companions, and I died. And I remember being like, this is so cool, there's this like elf that has like the same name as me. And of course Athos does come from like a lot of like different places as well, where 8-year-old me just named it off of Arthas, but there are like some like pre-existing like Athoses that you can find in like certain different places of the world. But I remember thinking it was so cool to see this, and then I started thinking about it. A dark elf named Athos, who is like a warrior, is very similar to a night elf, Death Knight, named Athos. And then I thought back to that moment where I was playing World of Warcraft, and I met this person who claimed to be a game developer who liked my name, and since then I have absolutely no way to confirm this, but it's my personal lore and just like my personal belief that that character in Skyrim is named after me personally, which is like my claim to fame that I cannot even verify at all, but it's something that I like to believe. And to that end, that makes me like my name even more, that there is a video game character named after me because of my name. But Athos is a very popular name, and it's often taken in like a lot of different websites and like games and stuff, partially because of that Athos character in Skyrim that I think people like, and then also because of the pre-existing like world, where I believe Athos might actually be a real life name. I'm not 100% sure, but I think there's like a bunch of people like actually named Athos. And then it's also a 5-letter name, which, you know, as more and more people exist and as more and more people create internet accounts, names have to become longer and longer, where pretty much every single 3-letter name and 4-letter name and now 5-letter names are taken on many websites. But let's go ahead and talk to the instructor here, where we can turn in this quest, and now we can discipline the 2 apprentices who fumbled the encounter that they had with the Wretched and like lost like some items, and then the spell book got water damaged in the river. So we can go ahead and discipline both of them. But I think first there are a few different things that I want to do before we head back that way related to Silvermoon, which I guess first let's come up here where we have that area over there, which is very cool by the pond. But then we have this building right here, which is where we come to learn riding, which we automatically learn it now in retail WoW, but we can buy all these Hawk Striders here. And we can come into here to learn riding itself, but I've already learned both of these. Which I'm actually riding at 100% ground speed, which I thought it would only be like 60%, but maybe let's come back into our warband collection really quickly, and let's take a look at the Swift Hawkstriders. And let's pick the white one. Maybe the white one would actually be fun, even though we wouldn't really have it at this time. But it drops from Quel'Thalas Sunstrider, the former prince of the Blood Elves, in Magister's Terrace, which is located in the Isle of Quel'Thalas. But under here we have a very special place, which I believe is a reference to 2 World of Warcraft developers, and I'm not sure who they are or what they stand for, I suppose. But we have this character. Finally, someone came down to talk to me. Want to hear some of my rhymes? Yes. Walking down the street, looking at my feet, watching the leaves fall off of the trees.
Stay the course.
Or we could say no.
Keep your wits
and it just closes the dialogue box.
Time is of the
So
essence.
just like a really random character who I believe is just like a reference, who just hangs out here under this bridge, and it's just a random detail. Which the entrance to this entire area is so beautiful, where I love all the banners and just like how this entire area looks. And we have these like ballistae right here at the Shepherd's Gate, an arcane defender, some Silvermoon City guardians, and a statue of Quel'Thalas. And we can enter Silvermoon City proper, which if you take a look at our map here, we can see this massive city where we have the western ruins of Silvermoon City, which we explored, and the Dead Scar, of course. But there is a lot of stuff in the city, so let's go ahead and just spend some time running around here, and I'll highlight a few fun things. Where we have the Elite Tauren Chieftains, which was introduced in the Burning Crusade, I believe, and they played at like BlizzCon. It was like basically just like a real life band that rebranded as the Tauren Chieftains during BlizzCon, and they played some songs and stuff. And I think there's like a couple of official songs that are really fun. But let's come into here where we have the Wayfarer's Rest, which is one of the inns and is not the inn we need to go to, but we have Innkeeper Jovia. And then we can come out here to the Bazaar, which is kind of like the biggest like trade area, I suppose, but also at Farce, or the Royal Exchange is also maybe even bigger. But we have the auctioneer here, and we have a bank over there, which I think the bank is really cool looking for the Blood Elves, and I like this bank building model quite a bit, where I really like this lectern right here that's just like floating, and you can use it to like write whatever you need to write, and I think it's just like a really fun detail. But we have a group of magisters over here just hanging out. There's some rubble in the corner, and I think if we come over here we can see one of the gates that leads towards the other end of Silvermoon City, which is unfortunately destroyed right now, but the gate is standing and is currently closed. Where I do need to come over here, I think it's in this building, where we have the general goods building, and we have the quest to turn in here, Sathran Azurdawn. So let's go ahead, turn this in, and then we can go to the Flight Master right outside Silvermoon City to continue this quest, where we do have a War Chief's command board that will send us to different areas of the road if we wanted to go to different areas. But I want to stick here in Quel'Thalas, where let's come over this way, where we are back towards like the main entrance. But we have a Druid trainer and a Shaman trainer here, which is good for Horde players who want to like come to Quel'Thalas to level up, and they are leveling but need to like train their skills back during like the Burning Crusade, so they could come here to this Druid trainer or Shaman trainer without having to go all the way back to like Orgrimmar or Thunderbluff or wherever to train. But we can come into Murder Row, which is a very interesting name for an area, where we have this Blood Elf passed out right there. And we can come into the Silvermoon City Inn, where we have this wine and spirits vendor, and let's get the Sun Touched special reserve from Vine Master Sun Touched. And let's go ahead and come back out this way, where we can go ahead and continue up Murder Row, where I remember there's one other building here which is very interesting, where this is the tailoring building here in the Sanctum, and we can see we have this, or I guess it's a Warlock trainer area. So we have this Warlock trainer right here, which has a quest for us, and we can go ahead and go to Orgrimmar in order to get a special item from a dungeon, I believe. But these Blood Elves have this green crystal here that they are channeling in order to gain more power. We also have this Blood Elf ambassador here with 4 Horde emissaries, 1 of each of the Horde races, and they're just wandering around, and the Horde are like basically trying to become allies with the Blood Elves and vice versa. Where it's in this building, we have a rogue trainer and a poison supplies, and just different trainers all around the road, which aren't too important anymore in retail World of Warcraft because, you know, we just automatically learn all of our abilities here. We have Krace of Eversong, which I believe is a reference to a player who like roleplayed on the forums or whatever, but we also have those couple of other characters right there hanging out with him. And then we are in the Court of the Sun, where we have Sun Fury Spire, which is very cool. But we have this NPC right here, which I believe used to sell this arcane construct to if you like caught up to them, but it doesn't seem to be giving me anything right now. But let's go ahead and come up here really quickly, where we have a ton of Silvermoon City Guardians. And we have like the mage trainers over there, and we have a priest trainer right there, and then we have the 3 leaders of the Blood Elves, Grand Magister Ramith.
I serve Silvermoon.
Which, fun fact, in Cataclysm, the devs were planning to have him betray the Horde, but then they decided to write the character in a different direction. So his story could be very, very different than what it ended up being. But we also have Haldron Brightwing.
Greetings.
Ranger General of Silvermoon, succeeding Sylvanas Windrunner, I believe. And then we have Lord Thamar Thrawn, Regent Lord of Quel'Thalas.
The eternal sun still guides us.
Be strong. Quel'Thalas has betrayed us, and what we know is in flux, but do not lose heart. We will endure, as we always have. Arthas did not crush our spirit when he swept through our land, and neither will Quel'Thalas. Let us serve as a lesson to us all as we move forward to our prosperous future.
The light of the sun will be with you.
But then we have a special room over there with an orbital translocation, which will take us to the Undercity at the ruins of Lordaeron, which we will check out another time. And I'm going to go ahead and come back out this way, where we have a couple more areas left to check, which we can come into this area where we have the engineering trainers, and we can see the Shredder here, which I always thought was really cool because it seems like out of place here in Silvermoon, just this like very classic like goblin engineering stuff, but the Blood Elves, and it's like in this like Blood Elf area. But we can come here. I really like this forge here where the blacksmiths are, and we have this very cool looking warrior trainer who's wearing PvP like plate armor from the Burning Crusade. That's cool. But warrior trainers are one of the martial classes that Blood Elves can be, and we can come into here, the Hall of Blood, where we have these paladins. And a very, very interesting thing down here, which I guess does not exist here in retail WoW, we have these Blood Elf Magisters with this box, and the Blood Elves used to have a Naru held in captivity here, which I just double check. We have Oros, who we met in the Exodar when we were playing as a Draenei character, who is from Tempest Keep. There was another Naru from Tempest Keep named Muru, and I believe Muru was the one who hanged out here, which we could see, and then Muru becomes the second to last boss in the Sunwell Plateau, which is why he is no longer here, where he is an important boss for the final raid of the Burning Crusade, and we could see him being held in captivity here. At least I believe that's the full story. But we leave that area through the side entrance here that goes underneath the sanctum there. And we can go ahead and continue this way into the final area we have not yet explored, the Royal Exchange, which is just like another like auction area with a bank right over there. But there's a building over here that I remember a lot, and we have the reliquary with archaeology trainers in here, and I saw this Fell Hunter But this building right over here, I remember spending a lot of time at just hanging out and like role playing with other people, where it's just like a basic like nice area for like blood elves to hang out at, where we have like this jewel crafting like trainer here, but there's just like some beds and some like nice pillows right here and a couple of fail crystals and some bookshelves and stuff. So just like a very fun and very well decorated area. But let's come back out this way, where we are back at the Walk of Elders, but on the other side of it now, where we have the Torn Chieftains right there. And it looks like the leatherworking and skinning trainers over here, and we have this room, Silvermoon Builders Association, where it looks like they are still repairing and building some stuff up, where we can come into this area, the Hall of Respite, which is where we just were. And I guess there's a back entrance right here, which is fun. This is a worker more so of the Silvermoon Builders Association, and I think we need to double check, but let's remember this name more so. And let's come back out here to this character who we just saw underneath the bridge into Silvermoon City, where we have Jerome Morsel's minion. So that is the aforementioned Morsel, where we also have Turkin Shevenlarher. It's a very interesting blood elf name, probably another reference that I have no idea what the reference is. But let's go ahead and continue out this way, where let's go find the flight master right here, and we have the Silvermoon City quartermaster that we can go ahead and chat with, and we can get the Silvermoon City tabard that we can go ahead and equip, which is good to get if you want to run dungeons, so you can get Silvermoon City reputation. But I think it looks cool, so let's go ahead and just equip it and have a cool looking thing. Let's go ahead and turn in this quest, and then we can fly back to Fairbreeze Village, where I kind of want to run back, but let's go ahead and just fly just to experience the Bloodhawk, where we can see looks very, very cool. And it's fun to fly around Quel'Thalas atop this very cool beast, and it's just fun to see another type of flying creature that you can have at flight paths, which I mentioned earlier, but only in Quel'Thalas basically. I think there's also a couple in Outland for Horde players. You can ride one as a part of 2 daily quests in the Isle Quel'Thalas, I remember that. But we are back here at Fairbreeze Village, which I need to come down here. For our Party Never Ends quest, we just need to get Springpaw appetizers, but that's probably going to be for next episode. But let's come over here to Swift Discipline, where we have these 2 apprentices right here, and we have Antheo's Disciplinary Rod punishes transgressing apprentices. So let's go ahead and target this one, and let's go ahead and polymorph him into a pig. He says, "You can't do this to me, we had a deal," but I'm just following the instructor's instructions. Where we have the other apprentice over here, which is still very far away from the bridge, but he has this cart that is kind of like has some stuff scattered on the ground, and it can go ahead and transform him into a pig as well, where he says, "What? Oh, not this again." And then we can go ahead and run back this way, where let's turn in this quest, where we have Instructor Antheo once again, and we can go ahead and turn this in, and we get to the Magister's Pouch, which is very cool. And I think back in the day, and probably still nowadays, if you are a mage, you can come here at like level 10, and you can chat with him in order to get a special mage quest, in order to unlock a special staff that has like some intellect on it, which is good for mages. Where I can run back up to Fairbreeze Village, and we can go ahead and run back to the top, or no, just the bottom of this tower here, where we can turn in this quest. Return to Sathio, and we got some gold and some experience, and we are very, very close to level 14, which I already have a couple of talent points, but I think I'll take a look at them and reach level 14 next episode. Where as far as this episode goes, we did a lot, and we are now pretty much done with the western half of Eversong Woods, and now we have the eastern half to begin looking at, and we also have this like southern area down here which we can look at in the future as well. But I hope you all enjoy watching this episode of my Blood Elf Warlock Let's Play series, and I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Remember, as always, to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time in the world of Azeroth. Goodbye.